I'm Dr. Renee Mera. Joining me in today's podcast is an acclaimed music singer and composer who is making great waves in the Indian film and music industry. From Mumbai, it is Aman Pant. Thanks, Aman. So happy to see you after all those weeks of coordinating our schedules. We finally made this to this podcast. Well, thank you so much.
Hi Renee, it's really great and it's my pleasure to be here with you.
So, Aman, let's talk about your amazing musical journey, starting off with lending music to ad campaigns, over 5,000 ad campaigns across India and international markets. And then you had this LA calling that was in 2017, where you won a competition and you won that in that song. And then moving on to iconic films, we're talking about Jolly LLB 3, Donkey starring Shah Rukh Khan, Jolly LLB 3 with Akshay Kumar. Then you have these TV series, Netflix series, Family Man Season 3 with Manoj Bajpayee, SinglePapa with Kunal Khemu, and in between you have Guns and Gulabs, where you were nominated for the Filmfare Award, and you won the coveted Radio Music Mirchi Award for the Best Music Score of the Year for the film Donkey. And in between, there are many other films and many TV series and dramas that you have contributed to your music to. Tell me how you got that first break into Hindi films.
See, actually, if you see, uh, getting into films is not that easy in India. There's a lot of competition. There is a lot of people who comes to Mumbai, especially if you see Mumbai as a city. As you know, I started doing ads, composing ads, and all that. So I was doing it. I was happy doing it and making nice money also. At that point of time, I was doing ads, a lot of ads. So R. Balki sir, who is a well-renowned name in cinema industry and also in ad industry, I'd known him because I was doing music for his films, and his wife also Gauri Shinde, who has directed English to English, and so I was doing music for them. So they asked me like whether I'll be able to do it or not, and I've never scored a film. So for me it was kind of a challenge. I said okay, it happened in year 2022, and my friend Anirudh, he was producers to R Balki sir, so he asked me, Aman, would you like to try this? I say I've never done it, and it's something interesting and something new to me. And in music, I think new challenges inspire you. Challenges, as my personality is, I like challenges and all. So it just came to me. We did it, and Balki sir came to the studio. We sat for 2 months, and it was done, and it was well appreciated. Like critics called me. They were posting my name, like the score was brilliant and all that. So first film doing that with R Balki was a great learning experience for me. And that was a journey it started. And and God has been really kind, because if I see from 2022, now we are in 25. It's like 4 years hardly. In 4 years, like I've got a Filmfare nomination, I've won an award, and then I've worked with the best of the directors. So I think
Yeah.
God has been really kind here.
Yeah, you've got all the blessings from above.
Absolutely.
And must have been a great feeling. You just started off 2017, of course, you got the LA calling. You went to LA for that, for the competition. And then in 2022, music score for the movie Chup.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then, right, boom, you went into Donkey and you got this coveted Radio Mirchi Music Award. How did that make you feel from ad campaigns to Donkey?
If I see my journey, not in films, in ads also, I usually say that music has happened to me, like you
Mhm.
get something. It has happened because I've never had a very, very professional training in music. I never had a very little bit here and there, but then, so I think it was something which was God gift to me, and I think it was destined to happen, like and so the things just went like that. I became a music composer. I never thought in my childhood that I can become a music composer, and
Wow.
I'll be recording with orchestras, big orchestras. I'll be scoring music. I'll be writing music. So I've never thought of. I can't. It's, till today also, when I come to studio daily basis, I see how this has happened. I can't imagine, and it's a real thing, because it is, people learn music from their childhood, and then they give everything to them, to the music, and they learn and everything, and then they come, because I've never learned music. So it was a God's grace. I wrote my first song when I was in ninth standard, though. I
Mm.
just came. I wrote my first song. I didn't know any instrument by then. The melody just came to me, and I wrote the song. So that happened. That gave me a confidence. In the school, I had some kind
Yeah.
of, okay, but I didn't know what is a person who is making a song. Who is he? Is he a music director? Is he a composer? Who is he? So my father told me, oh, you're a music director. You want to become a music director? I said, okay. What is the role of music director? So he told me, who composes the song. So I said, yeah, I think I can do it. That was just a random conversation. Like, I was in 9th, 10th standard. It was a random conversation happening, and so those times my motivation to make songs was my girlfriend that time, which is my wife
Mm.
now. I used to write songs for her. I used to, when we were talking, so that was kind of the start in the beginning.
Mm.
Then, slowly and steadily everything happened, and like I'm here now. So it's really fun, and I'm enjoying the current period. The good films are coming to me, and I'm
I think it's destiny, focus, concentration, and motivation all together, combined together. I think that's what it is. And thank you for giving me a quick virtual round of your studios, chirping birds. It was great. It's one of your, you got two studios. One of them was this one that you just showed me before the podcast. Now, you had a 70-piece orchestra for the music score for Donkey, and that was in Budapest. And you had all kinds of different instrumentation to just get into the main theme of the movie and to get that vision of the director. And it's not that easy because the director may have a different vision, you may think something different, but he did give you a lot of creative freedom.
Yeah, actually, the credit goes to Raju sir, for sure, because working for such a big film, and but Raju sir gave me a lot of freedom. He told me, what do you want? Aman, you tell me what you want. I said, sir, I want this kind of orchestra to play my music. He said, okay. So, because in India, I'll tell you, because these days, slowly and steadily, the importance of the score, now people know what is the importance of the score now in India, because in West it has always been score, but
Yeah.
in India it is more of songs, because India is like Bollywood, and they're making songs and dance and everything is happening. But then now, because kind of cinema is changing in India, a lot of OTTs coming in, so a lot of global kind of cinema is also coming to India. People are making the cinema which is globally accepted, and the global audience is also seeing that cinema. You know, so so in that global kind of cinema, there is a very few scope for songs. So it is more of the score. So that is why now the respect of the music composers, or the who is doing the score, who is writing the score, has increased in India, and people are slowly and steadily have started understanding what his score wants. And I think Raju sir has been really, really helping. He was really helpful as a director, and very collaborative. He I didn't had any kind of pressure, or neither he had any kind of ego, working with me, or he is such a big director and I was new comparatively. So he was very, very, we worked at a very friendly level, I would say. And it was all fun. Full process for fun, and I think when the process is fun, no, you enjoy the process first of all, and you don't find it difficult. Everything happens. It's because it's see, when it is organic, I personally believe any process, with me especially, it is very organic. Like, the music is flowing, it's coming from you know it's coming from somewhere. I said I have not learned, so it's absolutely coming from somewhere. Somebody is giving me that music, because if it is coming, then it's an organic process. We are just sitting, and the energies are good in the room. See, that is the most important thing, and the energy has to be really good. So Raju sir has really, he was really collaborative in that sense,
Mm.
and he gave me whatever I wanted,
That's
orchestra. And for
brilliant.
me also, for me, I had recorded. So it was my dream to record orchestra, my music
And then did
orchestration.
he revise it, or he said, this is great, I love it?
So see, while scoring, it is a process. Like,
Of
we
course.
spent like couple of months to score the film, first of all. But I still remember that I composed. I saw the film, the first cut of the film, and after that I composed some 7 8 tracks. The music genre, or like the palette of the music, like what would be the palette of the film. And Raju sir heard it, and he messaged me, Aman, all are very good. So, the kind of approach I was going to, I think we were aligned to that. So that, see, for any filmmaker and the composer, it is very important to be on the same page and
Yeah.
be aligned. Then only you can work, then only, otherwise it's very difficult if I'm on a different page, different,
Because if you're aligned and because you're setting the tone of the film through the score. And now with the changing landscape, even in India, you look at the score, it's like an important part of the film.
so and so I've been fascinated always to see orchestra. I used to feel, yeah, I'll also record orchestra sometime, when I will. So I got an opportunity in very first film only, Chup. In
Yeah.
that, Balgi sir gave me that opportunity. We recorded with Prague Orchestra that time. It was nice. Then in Guns and Gulabs was also, again I went to Prague Orchestra. We recorded brass sections, we recorded string sections. So that this happened, and Donkey came in. So I felt, because it's a bigger film and the canvas is bigger, so we wanted a little bigger orchestra, like a 70-piece orchestra. So I asked sir that, okay, and then we'll go to Budapest for this. He said, okay, go ahead.
Mm.
Then I'll not kidding you. A lot of big directors, all the big films also don't allow the composers to go to, because these are very expensive orchestra. You have to pay a lot, and but Raju sir know the importance of the score. you know he's such a director that he knows the importance of the score and knows what this live instrumentation and this orchestra can bring, that what is the difference it can bring to the film and the soundscape of it, which has, I think, which has also helped in terms of the storytelling. And also I won the award,
Yeah.
you know because sometimes your writings are very nice, you have written interesting parts, but then these days the music is synthesized sometime, you're doing from your computer, so that grandness and that the vibe you have imagined as a composer in your mind does not reciprocate in music, because you don't have that resources. So he gave me the resources.
To use a lot of instrumentation and technology together for scoring.
Yeah, I think because with the changing times, if you see technology, I personally believe technology is there to help us, help anyone. As a composer, also, if the technology is coming up, and my music, I like a lot of experimentation. I don't go traditional way, like okay. Scoring, for me, scoring can be experimentation. Scoring can be with strings, with electronic music, with using analog synths. So I like experimentation. And being from India, I like use Indian, a little tinge of Indian instruments here and there in my scores. Whether, because in similar thing happened in Citadel. Citadel Honey Bunny was an international kind of show, but I have used electric sitar in that, in the main theme. If
Mm.
you hear, that is the electric sitar. So everybody loved it. From the West also, I get messages. "Oh, what is this instrument?" So I told them, that this is an electric sitar.
That was
So
for
they were all,
Russo brothers, right?
yeah, that's for Russo brothers.
And then you
So
moved on to Family Man season three with that was starring Manoj Bajpayee, and that's where you had the flavor of Nagaland, the state in northeast of India.
see, if you see every project which is coming to me, I'm really glad and blessed that it's unique in itself. Because this has Nagaland in it. So I've never heard Naga tribal music. So I had to go there, be with them, explore that music, and then understand what is the kind of music, and then compose it. So, and Family Man season three, I did the main theme of it, and also I did one Dega Jan, which is already a existing song. I did a Nagamis version of it. So when you have already which is existing, something is there. Now you have to make it new, but with the old, but because it's the season three, there has to be something new. It was brilliantly composed by Sachin Jigar, very famous composers in India. So they have done it in season one. So now we have to take it, but then give it my own flavor to it. So that was a difficult thing, because it is already a hit theme and the song, and then you have to. Then I went to Nagaland and had I found very interesting players which I've never thought of seen of, because these tribal instruments are not instrument which are made by a machinery or something. It's just tribal people who want to make music, and they have just, with their own heart, they've made this instrument, which sounds very unique.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, I recorded a log drum. So it's like a 10-15 feet tree trunk, a big trunk, which they have hollowed from in between,
Wow.
and take a wooden, like big sticks, wooden sticks, and play like dong, dong. And like four people here, four people there. So four here, rack, dong, rack, dong. So it gives you that sound, very different kind of sound. It is called Nagamis. There is no as such name. There is a some the tribal name. I don't remember. But we called it Nagamis log drum. So it was a very unique sound. Then so they had a horns, a wind instrument, which they used to in earlier days they used to communicate. It was just very
Mm.
distinct kind of horn. They used to, if they wanted to send any
We
signal or any message.
incorporated that as well.
Yeah. So I use that in the this thing,
Ah, yeah.
and so these this gave the music very interesting flavor, actually, I would say. And then I like doing it, so I've collaborated it with a lot of EDM and electronic music, so it came out really nice, and the people liked it. So yeah.
I was watching the trailer of Single Papa that's starring Kunal Kemu, and it's really funny. Perfectly imperfect family, trying to be opinionated and protective of the boy. And here you have the score. I could just feel the tone, the music, the mood, just set the whole thing in my head, even though I just saw it for a couple of minutes. But I enjoyed because of that music score.
I would love to recommend you. I want to recommend you that show, because that's a really good show. It's a very simple show, but then right now, since it is released, it has got getting really good reviews, and the people are liking it. They're posting on Twitter here and there. The kids are loving it. My kids loved it, and the
Mm.
normal other kids, parents are posting their videos. They're crying after seeing the show and everything, because these days in India, if you see, a lot of shows have crime thriller, like that kind of shows are there, but then very few shows which is for whole family, like 10 years old to 80 years old can see that show. So I think that is a really good show. So I composed 7 songs and the score. I sang 4 songs out of 7 in that, and that's a really good one for me. Yeah, I
Let's hear
love.
one of them from you.
Okay, so it is. So the main character Kunal, his name is Gigi. Gaurav Gehlot. So he's from
I got
Haryana, and so there's a song called Gigi ki Gandness. So it's like, बाबे थोड़ा ठहर बे, जीजी आया शहर में, जीजी की ये गैंडनेस वो भी पूरी जहर है। मैं चलूँ आगे पीछे पूरा काफिला चले, मेरा राग मेरा स्वैग पूरा कातिला लगे, मैं बात भी करूँ तो गुनहगार लगूं, मेरा तरीका सलीका आशिकाना ही लगे, तेरे शहर में जो चले मेरी थार है, बाबे तेरे भाई के भी बड़े कारोबार है, सीखा मैंने प्यार मोहब्बत से जीना, पर एक हाथ में प्यार दूजे में रखा हथियार है, तेरी पहली गलती पे तुझे छूट देंगे, दूसरी गलती पे खड़े खड़े सूद देंगे, बाबे पूछ जाके मेरे बारे शहर में, ये शहर मेरे कर्म के सबूत देंगे, बाबे थोड़ा ठहर बे, जीजी है शहर में, जीजी की ये गैंडनेस वो भी पूरी जहर है. It's like a
Wow. That's so great.
more like a hip hop kind of vibe to it.
It's like hip hop, yeah, yeah. And like I'm adding like a rap kind of a thing onto it as well, giving that flavor. Now
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
me, with the new changing landscape in the film industry, in the music industry, we're talking about global reach because we have live streaming platforms. So it gives a lot of both established and upcoming artists a great chance to be put out in those platforms. At the same time, AI is going in different directions. A lot of revenue is lost because of AI. Copyright issues come in as well. Who owns AI? That's the first thing. Who is owning AI? So who gets the copyrights? So there's some sort of pros and cons over here. Uh, Voiceover artists are losing out because of AI. Everything AI is AI nowadays. So how do you navigate through this complex landscape?
See, it is very complex right now, because, as you said, that a lot of royalties are being gone, because of AI. People are making. See, to make a song, there is a lot of hard work. Somebody's writing it, somebody's making it, musicians are coming to play it. You're recording it, mixing it. So it's like a full sleepless nights, which are gone in one track. And here you're just writing it, and khadak, and you have this song. So, first of all, that authenticity of making a song, because every song is not a song, it's an expression of an artist. Queen making a song, that will have a Queen vibe, They're AC/DC making a
You
song, or
know,
some.
emotions are there. Yeah.
Every artist has their own things to talk about, own emotions. That is a music, Music is a language, it's an expression. Here, there is no language, there is no expression. He's just grinding, he's just making something, he's just grinding it chopping some vegetables and having and says giving it to you. So you don't know what you're eating actually, you know. If you are a vegetarian, so you don't know whether it's a vegetarian or it has meat in it. Just random example. So it is a random thing. So he's just giving you anything that the AI thing. So first of all, it is not good for any kind of creative thing because if but I'm pretty sure that no good creative professional will do this, will use it. Because if they use it, I personally believe, your brain is how much you use it, it will get sharpened. So if you don't use it, you use AI, then slowly and steadily you are killing your own creativity and you are killing your own what you can say, own music. So I think they're not doing it, but the layman people are doing it. They're just putting out the music on Spotify and earning a lot of money out of it. I think something will come out soon. I was reading somewhere and I also heard about it. Like it's international law is in making that if you make a song from AI and you post somewhere, maybe on Spotify or some other medium, so the licensing will tell like from which artist, like 20% from Aman Pant, 20% from Vishal Shekhar, maybe 40% from Hans Zimmer, or you know, so they will get the part of that royalty from that. You know, this is kind of it's still very uncertain because
Yeah.
a lot of conversations are happening, but this is the kind of thing which I've been hearing. So we're not sure about it. It's like here and there right now, but I think whatever is AI is doing, it's not good for any kind of creative
Yeah.
people, in our creative professionals, because as you said, voiceover artists have already lost their jobs because see, as producers, they are getting the voiceover for cheap or for free.
Yeah.
A lot of time they don't have to care of the quality, whether it is a poor quality or the worst quality. They're just thinking, we are getting our job done. So I
It-
think
It's a new uncertain road, but it curtails the creative freedom when you're singing or when you're putting out a score for the film. It's your expression, self-expression. It's what you're feeling from inside is coming out. And that takes me to another question. Are you spiritual?
yeah, in this non-spiritual kind of profession,
You are spiritual. Okay. So,
and
so
I'm just an odd one out.
would you integrate your spiritual touch in your music and in your scores? You get that feeling of, hey, that's my inner space. I want to express it.
See, I'll tell you, for me, spirituality is knowing myself, listening to my inner voice. And music is your inner self, knowing your inner self. If you know your inner self, music, as I told you, music is an expression, and with me music comes from, that is the energy, that spiritual energy, you can say, that drives me. That is my driving force or my inspiration, you can say. What, like, people ask, a lot of time people ask me in recent, I had some interview, they asked me what is the inspiration. I said this is my inspiration, when I connect to the divine power. If I if i can connect, so that is my energy. That, a lot
Yeah.
of time we have creative blocks, I just sit for meditation, you know for like maybe 15-20 minutes or like half an hour, whatever time it is. But then that time which we give for that, you can say it, whatever you can say it, sitting in silence, you can say it, or me time. So that time gives you that energy. You can go for 4 hours more, whether
Yeah.
you are tired, whether you have creative block, anything you say. But this is for real, and my energy, my driving force is that only.
So sitting in silence and then getting that creativity and that you're putting out and manifesting in your music.
Yeah, absolutely. you know this is happening. And Renee, I just wanted to add one story. uh, if I'm okay, I don't know if I'm okay to talk about my spiritual master also.
Please, absolutely.
There is a story. So how I become a composer. If you see my story, it is all spiritual, my profession also. So I was doing this music, and like I was composing music on my own, and I didn't know any instrument, nothing. Just it was coming to me. I was doing something. I was in my college, I remember. Me and my wife, that time my girlfriend, we were standing in a blood donation camp in our masters. My master is Sant Rajinder Singh Ji Maharaj. So we were in Delhi. So I'm from Delhi. Now shifted to Mumbai like 12, 13 years back. So there was a blood donation camp happening there. So we were just standing to donate our blood there. And it was a queue. So we were in that queue. So in that queue, there was a guy. And random, we are just in the queue, so we just started talking, what do you do and all that. So he said, I'm a filmmaker, that guy. Oh, so my wife said, oh, Aman sings very well, you should try him. So I
Mhm.
said, no, 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 I don't sing. I'm not a singer. I'm a composer. Oh, he said, oh my God, yeah, we have been looking for a composer for so many months.
Wow.
So that's really nice, just give us your number and I'll connect with you very soon. We are making this show for some of the channel that time and deals with kids and he told me this. He said, okay. He gave me his number and I gave him, we exchanged the numbers. When I went home, I told him I'm a music composer, but I don't know these days how the music is composed. I'm just doing it by myself. I don't know what is the technology behind it. I was doing engineering though that time. I
Mhm.
said, I don't know what is the technology behind it? So I started going to studios and studios, just taking number from internet. Oh no, that time it was just dial, in Delhi those days it was just dial. It's like yellow pages. You call and just ask for the numbers for the studios. So I just randomly went to studios, just to check it out how the music is made. So I got to know there are softwares now, the music is made on software. So I just started learning about software. So this guy called me sick after the 6 months. We
Mhm.
met him. After 6 months, he called me. Till then, at least I had some knowledge of software. I've downloaded the software, I can do little bit. So he called me, he gave me a brief that okay, we are making this show, which deals with kids in that locality, but they are kind of detectives. They solve a little bit cases here and there, like somebody has steal something and that kind of cases. So he said you have to make a theme music for that. It has to be little noirish, like a James Bond, but in a little kid way. Said okay. I went home. While I was going on, a lot of ideas in my mind just coming, coming, coming. I went home, I composed something, I just sent him. And one day I was sitting in my college canteen. I still remember he gave me this call that, okay, we and my partner, we heard your theme and it is really nice. And we are very happy and glad to tell you that you're on board.
Wow.
And, I was like, oh my God, and yes, I've become music composer now.
What a feeling.
If you see that story, and then I did that job with them. And then one of his partner was an advertising professional. So he got me into advertising. Because of which I came to Mumbai, because of which, I did so many ads. I learned so much of music. Because when you work on so much of ads, you learn a lot. So for so many years. So if you see that journey, there is a spirituality is there.
There's abundance of grace, and more you're grateful, the grace even flows more. That's how I feel.
Yeah, see, technically, in my case, I can say that I don't have anything. I don't know about others, but in my case, I know that I'm not doing this.
We're never the doers. There's a saying from Rumi that I am the brush, but you're the hand that's painting it. What it is. We are just brushes, but there's some hand that's taking us to where we have to go.
It is absolutely that. And for last 2 3 years, couple of years, I've started writing also, and that also I don't know because I can't write. Writing is a thing which is very difficult for me, but it is coming from somewhere. That divine energy is giving me the writing, that words, because I don't know a lot of Urdu words which I'm writing now.
Wow.
Sometimes I write it down and then I just check on Google whether this word is there, whether this word exists.
Mhm.
I have never read Urdu. I can't write Urdu, but then from where these words are coming to me, I don't know. So, so it's just a divine thing with
Yeah.
me.
Then every artist has their own signature on their work. What would be Aman Pant's signature?
I would say my music is pure at heart, and also I like to fuse a lot. I like to fuse genres. I'm not bound to a single genre, so I like to fuse Indian into electronic and Western kind of music, and my music is more global, I would say. So that tinge of Indianness gives a uniqueness which I come up with a global music sensibilities. So I think that is my, you can say, my USP. That and also I'm not a genre bound composer. Okay, this will do EDM. He will do jazz. So because of working in ads for so long time, like 15
Mhm.
years I've been working in ads. So because of that, I had to explore a lot of different genres, and I've composed in different genres. I collaborated with different artists, across the world. So because of that, actually, I learned a lot, and still learning, trying to learn more and more because music is endless. I'm still learning. But then because of that, I got exposed to a lot of new genres which I've never heard of in India. Because in India we have certain genres. Okay, folk music is there and this and that. But then because of working in ads, and I've done a lot of global campaigns also, so because of that, sometimes the client used to give me the reference of the music. Okay, this is the music, and if I've never heard of that kind of genre, of that kind of music, so first I have to study that music to compose it. Like
Mm.
happened in Naga music, I have to study that music to compose it. Like what is the nuances of the instruments being played there, what kind of music is there, what, if you say what scales they play in, what kind of, so indirectly if you have to do, you have to learn also. So in that way, I was very fortunate to collaborate with a lot of artists and a lot of new kind of music genres.
So do you have the same orchestra people all the time, or you always have new orchestras depending on the score?
It depends, absolutely depends on the score, because every orchestra has a plus point. Some orchestra players are very good with brass sections, some are
Mm.
very good with solo violin, some are, so there are different kind of people around the globe with different specialities. So I that is something. In fact, musicians which are from India also, so we choose the musicians according to the song or according to the score, kind of score we want. That is that
What's new coming up for you?
See, a very interesting projects, something I'm doing with Raj DK also. Then Rajkumar Rao, with Rajkumar Rao, I did one Netflix film Toaster. It will be releasing next year, and working on one more project. And there is couple of more interesting projects. One international projects are also in the talks. I can't see because why I don't want to name it, because it's not finalized right now.
Yeah.
So I can name it, but then there's a nice international talk happening. Maybe it happens. I don't know, but then in talks. So yeah, there are 4 or 5 nice projects which are lined up for this year, the
Mm.
coming year. So yeah, I'm very excited to work on that. And one more film with Pankaj Tripathi I'm doing, and something with. So it's like lot of things are there which I'm doing right now, and but I don't know how many things will release this year, because we do it and then it is released maybe next year. Some
Right.
some will release this year only. So but yeah, there are 5 projects which are maybe which will release this 2026.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see you growing stronger and stronger year by year. And I wish you all the luck, Aman, and hope to see you back in US very soon. I'm Dr. Renee. Stay healthy, stay positive.